A supply curve shows the quantity supplied at different prices during a particular period, with all other things unchanged. So if this were a supply curve, a movement or increase in supply would shift it upwards, meaning that there would be an increase in price, as well as an increase in quantity. So if it's not just an increase in supply, there are shifters. The 6 shifters are prices of factors of production, returns from alternative activities, technology, seller expectations, natural events, and number of sellers.
One of the supply shifters is prices of factors of production. Basically, when an increase in cost of production incurs, suppliers are less likely to supply at that particular price. So with an equilibrium quantity, price goes up, quantity supplied goes down. Is that right? The second supply shifter is technology. When a company produces with an increased level of technology, their supply will shift to the right and increase because the price of producing decreases, and therefore they are supplying more at that lower price.
So as a producer of jackets, I know summer is coming up, so that would mean I would expect that I would not sell as many jackets. So as a result of that, those sellers would decrease their supply, which would shift the supply curve to the left because they are expecting a drop in sales in jacket. So as a result, that would increase the price and decrease the quantity supplied, which would make sense because during summer you expect jackets to be more expensive since they are not selling as much, and less being supplied since not a lot of people are buying jackets. So as I was watching the news on Channel 6, I see that we are in a very drastic drought. And what this will cause, which is common sense, that all the plants, all the crops, there will be a decrease because of a natural event, which is the drought. That would cause a decrease in supply, which will shift it to the right or left because of the drought. There is not going to be as much supplied. That would greatly increase the price and lower the quantity supplied, because at a higher price you are less likely to buy products.
So another supply shifter is returns from alternative activities. So if a whole bunch of people decided to buy cows to milk, which would mean that there would be no more milk being produced being sold in stores, because other people would be making producing their own milk, which means that there would be a shift in the supply curve to the left for milk. Milk will have a decrease due to the fact that people are producing their own milk, and there would be less of a supply of milk being sold, and the price will increase due to the less supply of milk. Another shift in the supply curve is the number of sellers. So say if the strawberry market's doing poorly and the orange market's doing great, I am a seller that decides to move from the strawberry market to the orange market. Selling strawberries, I will decrease my quantity of strawberries, which will shift my curve to the left to my decrease of quantity in strawberries. So moving to the orange market, my quantity of oranges will increase due to the number of sellers in the orange market. So my supply curve for moving into the orange market will shift to the right, increase in quantity and decrease in price in oranges.
So at price number 1 for 40 cents, in the market of apples at 40 cents, you find that for profit maximization, you should produce 6,300 pounds of apples. At our second price of 22 cents, we see that we should produce 5,000 pounds of apples for our maximum profit. And at our third price of 10 cents, we see that we should produce 1,700 pounds of apples at that particular price in order to have our maximum profit. Good. So at this particular price of 40 cents, and that quantity of 63,000 pounds, that makes up your total profit. But when we decrease the price to 22 cents and decrease our quantity to only 5,000 pounds, only that makes up our profit. And then again, if we decrease our price to 10 cents, our quantity only remains in that small box right there. So when we decrease our price and decrease our quantities, we are therefore making a smaller profit than we would before.
So, in relation to a supply curve, on the cost curve, if this was your price at 40, you get to here, and your quantity's at 6,700, your profit's going to be $938 in this box right here. If your supply of apples were to decrease because the number of sellers, let's say, were to leave, it would cause a shift in the supply curve to the right. Let's say decreasing the price to 22 cents per bushel of apples, which would then make your price on the same cost curve lower, making your profit, but in this case only cost, lower than your actual profit because you have to go up to get to the total cost.
Therefore, there's no profit.
So at this point, the new price of 22 cents, there's going to be no profit, and it's going to cost the company more money because the total revenue
is equal to the total cost, meaning that there is zero profit.
From using this graph right here, we can create a supply curve for an apple market. At our price of 22 cents, we're making a zero profit. If you were to create a supply curve from this, at this point of 22 cents and 5,000 pounds of apples, that would be the origin of our supply curve. If you move to 40 cents and 6,700 pounds of apples, that would be our increase in price up here and our increase in quantity over here with our new price of 40 cents and 67 pounds of apples of quantity supplied. So this line right there between those 2 points creates our supply curve right there. It's so small, but
That concludes our project on supply. Hope you learned a little something. Thank you.